In this video, we are going to talk about Sonic Adventure. This game has attracted a ton of controversy over the years due to its many polarizing aspects.
Sonic was never good.
You are a sad, strange little man.
Does Sonic's big 3D debut still hold up? Let's find out. The development of Sonic Adventure began on the Sega Saturn. Needless to say, it didn't go very well, resulting in the hellish development and later cancellation of Sonic Extreme. Dear God, Sonic Extreme. After it became painfully obvious that the Sega Saturn wasn't going to last very long, Sonic Team made the decision to move development to the Dreamcast, resulting in Sonic Adventure in 1999. Sonic Adventure is unique in that it's split up into 6 different characters, showing 6 different sides of the same story. Our plot begins in Sonic's story, wherein we find the blue hedgehog at Station Square, a city we will become very familiar with over the course of the game. A mysterious blue entity called Chaos suddenly appears and begins wreaking havoc, leading Sonic to battle it. After defeating the creature, we find that Dr. Eggman, who was conveniently standing on a nearby rooftop, knows what Chaos is, and as we find out over the course of the game, wants to use its power to destroy Station Square and build Eggmanland over its remains, because of course he does. Over the course of Sonic's story, Sonic and Tails gradually collect more of the 7 Chaos Emeralds, but they're eventually stolen by Dr. Eggman, who uses them to power up Chaos. Great job, guys!
Great job!
Tails effectively has the same story as Sonic, just mixed in with some good old believe-in-yourself anime shenanigans that would effectively be wiped out as the series continues. Meanwhile, Knuckles is on his own adventure. When Chaos shatters the Master Emerald and causes Angel Island to fall into the sea, hopefully with no casualties, he makes it his mission to hunt down all of the pieces of the destroyed emerald and save the day. Amy Rose finds herself in possession of a bird that Dr. Eggman's robot named Zero feverishly wants to capture, and so her story entails lots and lots of running away from said robot, as well as some good old bitches be horny plot with Sonic. Big.
Holy Jesus. What is that? What the fuck is that?
What do I say about Big? His story is almost completely inconsequential and completely stupid compared to the other stories. Big has a pet frog named Froggy, how creative, who eats a Chaos Emerald and therefore becomes the target of Dr. Eggman. Froggy repeatedly escapes, presumably trying to escape from the terror that is Big the Cat. And Big must use his incredible fishing skills in order to retrieve him. Yeah, fishing. In a Sonic game. Fishing. We'll get back to that. Finally is E102 Gamma, who honestly has a bit of a sleeper hit compared to the other stories in this game. Gamma is a robot built by Dr. Eggman in order to cause general destruction, and is later tasked with capturing Froggy. However, a series of incidents and an encounter with Amy leads him to develop sentience, and causes him to rebel against his master in order to save the animal buddies trapped within his brothers as well as himself. Alongside all of these stories is the Tikal subplot. Across every adventure, a spirit known as Tikal will summon the characters to her home in the ancient past, where we learn the story of Chaos. As it turns out, Chaos is an immortal Chow who was the guardian of the Chaos Emeralds before an attack by Knuckles' ancestors caused it to become enraged and try to destroy the world. It was sealed in the Master Emerald along with Tikal for thousands of years before Dr. Eggman unleashed it in order to destroy Station Square. After defeating Chaos' 6th form, all is saved, but not for long. It turns out Chaos has survived, and after stealing all 7 of the Chaos Emeralds from Knuckles, he uses the negative energy of the Emeralds to transform into perfect chaos, and destroy all of Station Square in an event that is never mentioned again after this point, presumably due to the implications of a mass casualty event occurring in a city of this size. I mean, god damn! Tikal appears and tries to seal Chaos into the Emerald once again, but Sonic chooses another path. By using the positive energy of the Chaos Emeralds, which is honestly kind of an ass-pull if you ask me, he goes supersonic and attempts to quell Chaos' rage so that history cannot repeat itself. The attempt succeeds, and Chaos and Tikal disappear for good. The game ends with Sonic heading off into the now destroyed Station Square, of which he presumably didn't help rebuild at all. Thanks, asshole. This story is a bit of a mess. The main problem is splitting up everything between 6 characters, 2 of which barely mean anything to the plot in the first place. This caused a problem because there's a lack of a narrative through line. Everyone is doing completely different things with completely different themes. I know Dr. Eggman is the bad guy, but we're only really going after him for 2 of the 6 storylines. The rest are completely unrelated to the core of the story, defeating Dr. Eggman and stopping chaos. This makes it hard to care about the plot when you're playing as the other characters, because you know in the back of your mind that they don't really mean anything in the grand scheme of things. I just didn't find the story very engaging for this game. By the way, if you made it this far into the video, why don't you consider liking and subscribing? It really helps out the channel. But an unengaging story can still be saved by good gameplay. So does Sonic Adventure have that? Well, just like the story, it's complicated. Let's start with Sonic's gameplay. Sonic has the best style of gameplay, hands down. His gameplay consists of high-speed platform that you'd expect from a Sonic game, but in 3D. The feeling of momentum and speed in this game is just fantastic, and it's super fun to play. He also gets the most stages with a total of 10. The classic spin dash is still around in this game, and it's honestly a bit busted. You can gain some serious speed and airtime using this thing, and it's super fun to pull off. New to this game is the homing attack, which allows Sonic to home in on enemies after a jump in order to defeat them. This is basically necessary considering that you're going so fast in 3D that you'd never be able to hit anything otherwise, so it's a great addition in my book. Additionally, you have the Lightspeed Dash, which allows you to charge up very slowly and zoom across a trail of rings. I don't like this ability at all in this game because it's just a pace breaker. Thankfully, they would revise this in future games to make it much faster to use. Tails plays very similarly to Sonic, except for the fact that his levels revolve around racing either Sonic or Dr. Eggman to the end of the level. He has the ability to use a pretty useless tailspin attack as well as fly, which pretty much breaks his levels in half. It's almost impossible to lose at these races if you're even slightly decent at video games. This makes his story incredibly short, but still almost as fun as Sonic's. Knuckles is based around treasure hunting and exploration. While a lot of people can't stand these levels, I actually find them pretty fun in Sonic Adventure 1 specifically. They're not very long, and they're just the right size to where you'll never get lost. Additionally, you have Tikal to help you find the general location of the emerald pieces, just in case you do get lost. Knuckles' best ability is his ability to glide across levels, making finding the pieces super quick and easy. He also has access to a punching combo that I honestly did not find very useful. It's only really effective in the Chaos 2 boss fight. Otherwise, jumping on enemies works just fine. So far, all of the gameplay styles have been really fun and worthwhile. It's with these 3 assholes that the problems start to arise. Let's start with Gamma, who to be fair isn't too bad. Gamma's levels center around shooting. By destroying everything, you gain more time and rack up a higher score. Gamma also has the ability to hover and fly across hazards. His levels are okay. They're short, simple, and decently fun, but they're not really what I play a Sonic game for. I never came close to ever running out of time, and I was able to beat the entire story in a slick 40 minutes due to how short it is.
That was it?!
Amy's main objective is to avoid the Robot Zero and reach the escape balloon conveniently located at the end of every level. She has access to a variety of moves using her Pico Pico hammer, the best of which would be the spinning hammer jump. Her gameplay is somewhat more puzzle-based and slow compared to Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles. Slow is the right word to describe her levels. Amy's top speed is pathetic, and so is her acceleration. This results in me spamming the hammer jump move just to get her to top speed faster. I really don't like Amy in this game due to this problem. I understand that she's never going to be as fast as Sonic, but I don't understand why she has to be this slow. Big? What can I say about Big? Fishing? Why did they do this? Yes. Big's levels revolve entirely around fishing. All you have to do for his 4 short levels is find the frog, cast your line, press down on the analog stick when he grabs it, and time your presses of the A button in order to not snap the line. Snap the line, and you lose a life. This is stupid. It's slow, boring, obnoxious, annoying, and just plain dumb. This has no place being required to complete a Sonic game, and I'm amazed that they even put it in the first place. Overall, I only really enjoy about half of the character gameplay styles in this game. The rest I find to be a bit more tedious and boring. I feel like if this game just centered around Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles, and gave each of them more levels each, it would be a better game overall. Instead, resources had to be allocated to each of the 6 characters, and it just makes all of them worse for it. I found that overall the gameplay of this game is fun with certain characters, but lacking in others. Boss fights in this game come in 2 varieties: character battles and traditional boss fights against either Chaos or Dr. Eggman. Let's start with character battles because they're a joke. They're pathetically easy and almost impossible to lose at. There's no strategy, you just run up and attack the other character 3 times until they're defeated. I almost wish they weren't in the game because they're pathetic and they cast a bad light on the rest of the game. Traditional boss fights are a bit better. They actually require strategy and pattern recognition, which is certainly an upgrade. However, they're still really easy and repetitive. Some of them you can even glitch like crazy, like this. Finally for gameplay is the Chow Garden, which I honestly didn't spend much time on this revisit because I can't give a flying fuck about the Chow Garden. You can raise Chow, which takes a very long time I might add, and you can race them in Chow races. I just find it completely uninteresting. Sorry to all the Chow fans out there. Let's talk about the thing that dates this game most of all, the presentation. First is music, because it is 100% the best aspect of the presentation. This is hands down one of my favorite gaming soundtracks of all time. There's something for everyone here. Rock, techno, jazz, hip-hop, and even more. Best of all, it all sounds fantastic, as to be expected of Sonic Team. There are some total bangers here, and I love all of it. But the voice work leaves a lot to be desired. First of all, the translation is, from what I understand, a total mess compared to the Japanese original. There are mods that fix this, but I chose to play with the original English translation and dub for this revisit, and it just simply is not that good. Some characters like Sonic and arguably Dr. Eggman sound pretty good, but other characters like Tails just sound terrible. Seriously, what is going on with some of these voice clips?
I figured, why not use it to power my plane? Supercharge!
Before we talk about graphics, I have to give a disclaimer. I did use mods in order to restore the PC version of this game to a state resembling that of the original Dreamcast version, because I prefer that version of the game as compared to the updated Sonic Adventure DX version. Sonic Adventure DX introduced new models, lighting, and textures that I simply find to be inferior to the original. This excellent video by Cybershell goes into more detail. Anyway, how does Sonic Adventure fare graphically? I honestly think that this game still looks pretty good. Everything is colorful and bright without being oversaturated and garish, and it runs well on PC too. Character models, while dated, still look nice during gameplay, with the massive exception of Dr. Eggman. Oh my god, what is going on with this man?
Oh my god, what's wrong with your face?
And the levels themselves are well designed overall. It's the lip sync and character animations during cutscenes where things fall apart and descend into the pits of hell. These are terrible, even for Dreamcast standards. This is the same console that had Shenmue.
Excuse me? Oh, no. I just can't now.
I simply do not understand what went wrong here. Characters talk like freakish abominations and move either way too fast or like they're running in slow motion. It looks ridiculous and seriously takes me out of the story. I can't take the game seriously when cutscenes look like this. Overall, this game's presentation really holds it back, and I hope that one day we can get a full remake that could address these concerns. Finally, the big question that this video posed. Does Sonic Adventure still hold up? Honestly, it's hard to give a definitive answer. It's going to depend on your own personal feelings and how badly the presentation holds up versus the gameplay. For me personally, no, this game doesn't hold up for a multitude of reasons. The biggest is definitely the gameplay. I can enjoy a game with bad graphics, but I can't enjoy a game with bad gameplay, and I only enjoy about half of this game at most. That's a problem when this game takes quite a long time in order to beat. Over half of the 6 hours I spent playing this game was spent not enjoying it, and I simply can't forgive that. The presentation also seriously brings this game down. While I adore the music, I can't take the animation seriously, and due to that, I can't take the story seriously either. All of this results in an experience that I was just not interested in for the majority of my time, which I hate to say, considering that I loved this game when I was a kid. Sonic Adventure is a game that has been ravaged by time. While I can acknowledge that this was very impressive back in 1999, and it is an experience that still has its fans, I cannot really recommend that you play this game today. If you're a diehard Sonic fan who has somehow never played it, then yes, definitely give it a shot. You'll probably love it a lot more than I did. However, if you're just a casual gamer, there are more Sonic games that are honestly better than this that I recommend you check out in order to see why people love the blue blur. Hey look! I got through this whole review without ever saying Sonic has had a rough transition into 3D. Take that, mainstream reviewers!